Hey, this show is entirely listener supported. That's you. You're a listener. If you want to support the show and find out how to get bonus content and early episodes and monthly video hangouts with me and Jeff, you can head to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns. I think the first time I took Malox was when I was 4 years old.
Really?
I don't know. It feels correct. This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Canada.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens. The elixir of eternal youth.
Oh, do you have some? Is it Malox?
It's Malox. That's the trick. Apparently, Russian scientists are seriously searching for the elixir of eternal life.
Oh, I hope some American scientists are working on that.
American scientists are doing real science.
Oh.
Russian scientists live in a nightmare world where they can only do strange things. Also, everything in Russia has to go through a prism of, like, Clive Barker.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's a little Putin.
Or like
everything's a little Putin.
Yeah, everything's a little Lovecraft over there.
Yeah.
Everything's just slightly dark. It's like a Jim Jarmusch movie over there.
Right.
But no, so they've been searching for eternal life, and they think one of the keys to eternal life is this bacteria that they have found called Bacillus F. And it's been...
Oh, that doesn't sound terrifying.
All bacteria sounds terrifying.
Basilisk F?
Not basilisk. Not basilisk F.
It's a
bacillus.
It's a giant lizard man with a spear.
It's not so much a bacteria as it is an army of lizard people, but they seem to live a long time.
Well, if we can only harvest their blood, we'll be fine.
If we could only get near their fortress stronghold in the permafrost
There you go.
to harvest their blood. This is science, and that's what's going on in Russia right now with science.
I'm in favor of this.
But Bacillus F is a bacteria that's 3.5 million years old, and it can live in the permafrost in Siberia. That's pretty harsh.
Yeah.
When you think about harsh climates, the permafrost of Siberia is maybe the harshest terrestrial one I
Not
can
a
think
vacation destination.
of. No, not a lot of people going there.
Yeah.
There are these people that actually do live there. Nobody vacations there, but people live there. They're called the Yakut people.
Which is Russian for very unhappy.
Yeah. It's Russian for scowl.
Yeah. Just unhappy, sad people.
They have 37 words for scowl.
Welcome to my hut.
But they're all getting in their water supply a supply of this bacteria, and they live for an extremely long time. These are some of the longest living people in Russia.
So you're saying this bacteria from millions of years ago froze in the ice, and because the ice is melting and that's what they're drinking this bacteria into their system.
It's a theory. It's a theory. I'm not saying it. I wouldn't say it. I'm no scientist.
But Russian scientists
are 100% saying it. And they've actually tested this bacteria in mice because that's what we do.
Yeah.
And it has allowed older female mice to breed.
You mean past the normal breeding age?
Past the normal breeding age. These are much older much older mice than you would expect. They're the Helen Mirren of mice. And they...
Still so hot. These mice.
Still.
Amazing.
Best exotic marigold mice.
Really just fantastic. And the personality on these mice.
That's the thing.
Lovely.
Is like they're so down to earth.
Yeah.
These mice.
You would think that they would be, kind of mean, but they're not.
No, I mean, you feel like you could just buy these mice a beer, but they would also be equally at home at the ballet.
Yeah.
And now they can breed.
I want one of these mice to play the queen.
Sure, we all do. So this is good. They've tried it on fruit flies. They've tried it on mice. And it seemed to make them more fertile longer, which is a sign of increased youth, I guess. And,
yeah.
Kind
of by definition, I would say.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So, this Russian guy injected himself with the bacteria.
He worked on mice. He injected himself?
Yeah, they're not ready for human trials. There's no scientific trial. He did not do this for an experiment. He just looked at it and he said, this guy's name is Anatoly Brushkov.
Uh-huh.
He's the head of the geocryology department at Moscow State University. He is one of these guys who's experimenting on this, and he looked at it and he went like his eyes just went back and forth. You know, he looked at the mice, he looked at the syringe, looked at the mice, looked at the syringe.
Push in on eyes.
Yeah, and he was just like, fuck it.
If you didn't want me to inject self, you shouldn't have left it lying there.
I left it lying there because you asked me to. You're the head of the department. You said leave all the equipment out.
Yeah, but I was alone in the lab. I saw a syringe. My arm right there.
Yeah, I can tell because you now have one rippling bicep
Look at that.
on your right side.
Look at this. I wear half shirts now.
Well, the rest of you still looks the same, Anatoly.
Well, speaking of which, do you have more syringe?
You know how much we have. You're the head of the department.
Right. I don't pay attention to these things.
Clearly.
Yes.
Yeah, so he just was like, fuck it. Seems cool. I'll do it. So he injected himself like 2 years ago with this bacteria.
I love this guy.
And he's like, and so people are like, what happened? And he's like, well, I haven't been sick in 2 years. I have much more energy. I can work harder.
This is a 21st century scientist with a 19th century mentality.
Yeah, this is some Mary Shelley shit right here.
I love it.
This is like insane. So
he says he hasn't been sick?
Hasn't been sick. He normally gets the flu every year. He hasn't gotten the flu in 2 years.
Feeling amazing.
Yeah, he's feeling real good.
man.
And so people are like, well, what about the effects? What about the side effects? Is there anything going on? And he said, well, it wasn't really a scientific experiment. So I cannot describe the effects. I didn't catch the flu. Maybe there were some side effects, but I mean, we should really use equipment to spot them.
I can crush metal things with my mind now.
But could I before? And did the bacteria add to my mental crushing ability?
I don't know. I also started exercising and started a much more low carb diet.
Correlation is not causation when it comes to telekinetics.
You can't really tell.
I think that's the first thing that we know about telekinetics.
Is he a Superman? Has he become, is he just real hardy and doesn't get the flu?
Yeah. And I mean, also, like, he shouldn't do that.
Also, Anton.
Like, he shouldn't have done that.
I feel like Anthony Carboni would be way in favor of this
I'm not the head of the experiment. Here's the thing. The guy does it, and he doesn't even take, like, he doesn't even do, like, creepy Lovecraftian journals about his descent into madness. He didn't document a goddamn thing.
Oh, I get it. You're not mad that he did the experiment.
No.
You're mad that he just documented it poorly.
Because he didn't do an experiment. That's what I'm mad about. It's not that he did an experiment and documented it poorly. This motherfucker just looked at it and said, literally said whatever the Russian version of YOLO is, whatever the Cyrillic is for YOLO.
Weirdly, it's actually still YOLO.
It's just still YOLO, but with a backwards R at the end. He just injected it, and he didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
And he didn't
I forgot I even did that. Weird.
Yeah. Fuck you, buddy. Here you have this whole team of people running these clinical trials being like, hey, maybe one day we can test this on a human. If you're gonna break the fucking rules, just make it worth 100%. Everybody. Yeah.
Don't half-ass it.
But that was like, man, this is just the most, like, laid-back, lazy Russian thing to do.
You know what I bet it is?
He's just this, like, stubborn Russian guy, just like, you know, all the other stubborn Russian guys I ever met that was just like, wanted to know. Did it.
Just tried it, you know.
Come at me, bro.
Do you think it may have been just like a wacky accident that happened? He was carrying the syringe and then
This is like a Barry Allen situation?
Yeah,
This is like a Flash situation?
It was in his hand and he tripped and then he stabbed his thigh.
But he stabbed his thigh with the syringe, but the syringe was also tied to a kite. That was, for whatever reason, flying out the window.
And it was a stormy night.
It was a stormy night and it hit. And then all of a sudden, like, somebody ran in and they're like, Anatoly!
Oh my God, nothing, I'm not doing anything in here.
Anatoly, are you growing before my eyes?
Don't know. Now I'm so much. Why are you so puny?
But, Anatoly, did you inject yourself with the bacteria?
No.
How much bacteria did you inject yourself with?
1 syringe worth.
That's not... But how much was in the syringe? Was it full? Was it half full?
Oh, yeah, super full, bro.
But, like, how much electricity? Like, were you struck by the lightning directly? Or?
Well, the kite, I wanted to not forget kite for later. And so I tied kite to syringe because I knew syringe was super important. So I kept... They
always say, tie a string to a syringe.
Old Russian saying.
Yeah. And it's like, we can't use any of this data.
Whoa! Oh, that sucks.
You're literally juggling all of the equipment in the room right now.
Well, I got to practice my juggling later because if it's so windy and stormy, kite flying isn't going to go. So I got to entertain crowd somehow. Oh,
look, man, I don't care what you do. If you want to inject yourself with something, inject yourself with something. You gotta take down details.
I didn't want to do it.
How did you become the head of this department?
My dad was head before me. It's kind of a nepotism thing.
Hello, son!
Oh, Dad, I didn't do it!
I'm jet skiing on rocks! My biceps super huge! Thanks for experiment!
Oh, Dad, you're the best.
I would say this is corruption and it's unfair, but
we're in Russia.
Yeah,
so it's part of the course. Old Russian saying, play golf with Rhino and always win. I don't know what it means, but it's better than the whole tire syringe thing.
We're not good at sayings. That's the thing. We're not pithy. That's why our novels are so long. It's just like, come on, Dostoevsky, get to the point.
I love this guy. I love
him and I hate him. I have a love-hate with this guy.
Yeah.
Which is, sort of the way everybody feels about all brilliant men, right?
Yeah.
I think this is a brilliant man.
I think he is a brilliant man.
Maybe this is a genius.
Do you think, in your heart of hearts, there's any correlation between him not getting the flu and this virus, this bacteria?
I think maybe, right? But it's like he says, who knows? You would need equipment and data for that sort of thing.
I like how he's so honest about it, though. Yeah. It's like, a better guy.
He's like, I literally did this for me. Fuck you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to wait for that kind of thing. I just want to live forever. Is that so wrong?
Listen, if in 3 years we find out that, this is the stuff that's going to make you live forever, but you got to start taking it before a certain cutoff date.
Yeah. Then egg on my face, right? For doing the experiments instead of just injecting it.
Yeah. I mean, what if after all the experiments they find out, hey, it works, but it works 10 times better for people under 66. But he's 66 right now or 65 right now, right? Good thing he started injecting. What if they find out that it's an exponential effect? So the longer you're doing it, the more it helps you, right? And he started 3 years before all of us. It's unfair, but good on him.
Good on him.
Good on him.
Yeah. He doesn't wait for nobody.
No. But I mean, he could have taken down some data.
It's really interesting.
I do think, and maybe it's because I've been doing so much reading about like microbiomes and things like that, and I'm super fascinated about that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I have a tendency, I want to believe that the bacteria helps.
Right.
I want to.
Yeah, because we want to live forever.
Sure.
Why wouldn't we?
But I also just have I'm predisposed now to believing that microbes and bacteria and the things that live on and inside us affect our health more than we know. Like that's just something because of the beginnings of recent research. Right. I'm just more likely to believe. Do I think that there's
your recent research reading? Recently?
I mean, recently.
Really?
Not really. I couldn't. I tried. There are a lot of where are all the R words in my brain.
Just repeat what I was saying.
But yeah, I think there's probably a lot of reasons why the people in this particular region live longer. Mm-hmm. and the bacteria in the water may be part of it, like fresh, clean water or water with a specific composition, sure. But like, maybe there's something else. Maybe there's something to their lifestyle. Maybe there's something to their overall diet. Maybe there's something to, you know what I mean? You can never know. It could be one of a million factors.
Well, I like that this guy took that as like, well, it's probably safe. These people have been drinking it.
Yeah.
I'll just inject it into my bloodstream. What's the worst that could happen? Oh, I don't know. You die?
Yeah, I mean, there's this thing called parts per million.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's this thing called potency. Yeah. And yeah, you drink a certain amount of the water and it has a certain amount of the bacteria, but it goes through your digestive system and you only absorb maybe a certain amount of it, right? That's different than injecting it directly into you.
It's so crazy. And how casual he is about it.
He's super chill.
Yeah.
Could you even get away with that in an American lab?
No. I'm sure you could not.
I'm sure they would just be like, look, dude, you've at least ethically kind of effed up this experiment a little bit.
Well, am I punished, or I mean, I can continue working at the...
We're going to move you off this experiment probably.
Oh.
But there's really nothing there's nothing against what you've done in the bylaws.
Well, I'm really glad I brought all that stuff home to my fridge.
You can't do that. You can't.
Wait, what?
You're not supposed to do that.
No?
No.
Well, but
you're supposed to collect samples and bring them back here.
No, there's plenty of samples here. In fact, so much that I figured, why not just take some work home with me and have it for dinner?
I mean, technically, there's nothing I can do about that either.
Okay.
Because it's just in the river. I can't do anything about this.
I mean,
basically all that's happening is we lose the guy who's been working on this for a year.
Yeah.
And now we got to bring in a new guy.
Yeah, sucks for you guys.
Yeah.
As I'm
on the bright side, your hair is looking full and lustrous.
Oh, thanks.
And your biceps are crazy right now, bro.
Yeah, I haven't worked out once.
Huh.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. Take any data on that?
Data? What's that?
All right. We're defunded. I would drink this water tomorrow.
Yeah?
I'd inject it into myself, sure.
But you would just sort of start a journaling effort.
No, because I'm not part of the scientific community.
So you're a hypocrite.
No, I'm not, because I'm not being paid to study it.
Ah, I see.
It's not my job to study it.
But
it's my job to live forever. I'm the president and CEO of Anthony Carboni Has to Live Forever Incorporated.
Uh-huh.
Just had a board meeting.
Yeah.
And we all voted on doing whatever the fuck it takes to live forever.
And by all you mean you. You're the single board member with one unanimous vote.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a powerful corporation. It's not a large corporation.
No.
But we are single-minded and we get our goals accomplished.
You do have a fantastic intern program, though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, unpaid intern, but so much eagerness in that room.
Yeah, I mean, that's also me. I do not make any money.
Yeah.
And I work for myself unpaid.
It sucks that you treat yourself so poorly.
Yeah, I'm talking to a therapist about that. But also, I just feel like, hey, man, that's how you work your way up.
Yeah.
You got to take the bullshit. You got to
impress the higher ups, man.
Exactly.
And then one day you'll be in that seat.
I have never impressed myself once.
Yeah.
But I will live forever. And maybe in that amount of time. Yeah, maybe in that time I will learn to be happy with myself. Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah. So you would drink this water.
If I lived forever, I don't think I would grow as a person at all.
No.
Do you?
You'd just be much longer and more miserable.
Yeah. Do you think if you lived forever, you'd become like super wise and perfect and like enlightened?
I would hope so, but I think that evidence to the contrary. Because the longer
think video
you live,
games just keep coming out.
That's true.
I think they just keep releasing movies.
And I can feel a lot less embarrassed about spending that amount of time. Less guilty about it.
My laziness would expand like a goldfish moved to a bigger tank.
Yeah. Yeah. It's be like...
Or like one of those fish in that Russian river. They're huge.
What do I care? Yeah, the fish in that river, they're massive.
They're massive.
You should see the biceps on those fish.
They're not supposed to have them.
I don't know why they do, but they look fantastic.
Whew.
Yeah.
They never do anything, though. They do not work at all.
No, they're lazy. All they do is arm wrestle.
They're
constantly.
Lazy, entitled fish.
Those bastards.
You guys gonna hop a plane to Siberia, drink this water?
Yeah.
And do you think Anatoly is cool guy or not cool guy?
Yeah, best scientist or needs to be fired?
Well, he's clearly not the best scientist.
Well, boldest scientist.
Bold.
Is he should he be applauded for his moxie?
You can
or
only
should he be
invent the
fired?
diving. You can only invent the diving bell by putting it on your own head and jumping, right?
Well, if you have unpaid interns. That's what unpaid interns are for.
You can let us know what you think about that on Twitter. You can hashtag that fish bicep. I'm at A Carboni.
I'm at Jeff Canada.
And hey, if you haven't yet, why not head over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating?
Oh, yeah. The 5-star rating really does help people discover the show.
Yep, that's how iTunes knows to put shows in front of people's faces. Now, they're going to ask you to write a review.
No, you don't have to do that. Nobody reads those.
Nobody reads those reviews. What we want you to do instead is...
Start a
if
journal.
you were a fish with huge biceps, how would you fill your day? You know what you do? You give us 5 stars, and you write us a little bit of bicep fish fan fiction.
There we go. And also sign a release so that we can put it in our book.
Yeah.